right, everybody. Hello, and welcome back to the Win a Pageant podcast. Today's guest is a good old friend of mine, Brea Sharron Estep. And this gal, she is a firecracker. And if you saw her at her pageant when she won Mrs. United States, y'all know what I am talking about. She does it all. She is a integrative health practitioner, but I met Brea when she was a personal trainer into fitness, group fitness, and she has a nonprofit that she's going to be sharing with you today to help work with youth, all with the big mission of helping people to avoid obesity and lead a healthier life. And one of the things that I particularly love about Brea and why I was excited to have her work to share in front of this audience is because she works with the people who maybe you felt this way before. You've tried every diet, you've talked to all the doctors, and you just can't figure out what is wrong with me. Why am I not losing weight? Why do I feel like crap? Why is my energy floating out the window all the time? These are the types of people that Brea works with and that she is able to help in a massive way. So we are so excited to have her here to talk with us today about what we should knock off. What are all the stupid things we're doing in our lives? We need to stop them right away. What are some simple things that we can just add back into our world? And what are some things that we just need to not do at all? So without further ado, please welcome, let's get a little round of applause for Brea Sharron Estep, Mrs. United States. Thank you so much for being here, Brea. I appreciate you.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. I mean, all credit to you. Thank you. Of course, I want to give credit where credit is due. Alicia, you helped me through the years so much. I've listened to every single podcast, and you were the one who actually helped me create my legacy project, which is now my platform. So I'm going to try not to get emotional, but all credit where credit is due. So thank you.
Thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. I remember that call. It was now a few years ago. And, and I remember when we had that and you were like, this is my passion. This is what I know I'm meant to do. And so we were like, light bulbs flying everywhere. And you're like, I'm on it. And then from that moment, you just dove right in. Let's actually start there. Tell us a little bit about that Youth Fitness Link, right? Tell me about it.
Yeah. So, Youth Fitness Link started out as a project in college and sat on my laptop hard drive for years, and got started competing as a Mrs. in pageantry, and found my friend Alicia that we did fitness shows together, who was the Win a Pageant podcast host. Not how perfect. So listened to all of the podcasts and got caught up, and Alicia and I had a conversation, and I knew that I needed to go deeper. It was great that it was a project that never got off the ground. And I knew that I was doing stuff in person at my personal training studio with kids, which is wonderful, but I wasn't making an impact. I was not leaving a legacy. I was literally just working in my little community, which is wonderful and a wonderful place to start. Action precedes clarity. So I needed to have the action in order to get the clarity. But Alicia really saw things, being a visionary, and opened my eyes up to all we could do. We created a hashtag WOW initiative, workout of the week, which has really caught on. And since COVID, I've also taken things all online. I don't have my personal training studio anymore. So I was able to force myself out of the nest and created wonderful resources. I've got a website, www.youthfitnesslink.com, where there's healthy resources. There's workouts for kids, which came in amazingly beneficial during COVID when everybody was all stuck inside and nobody had gym class anymore. So that was absolutely wonderful. And that's really how it got started, and it took off from there. But the idea was really taking everything that I see as an integrative health practitioner and doing what I can to prevent all of the pain that so many of us have went through.
Mm-hmm. That's so true. Yes. I love what you are doing for people. And I know you are also a business coach and a multi-author, including of your best-selling book on Amazon called Holistic Health Clean Eating Cookbook, which I checked out, and I was like, because I got the book that you have that's on your website, which is so much fun. It's like, guys, you got to get this book. It's free on her website, breasharron.com, and it's the Clean Copycat Cookbook. Okay. You got to get it because she shows you clean eating, like how you can remake those delicious PF Chang's, lettuce wraps, which are like, when I saw those in the cookbook, I was like, this looks like those lettuce wraps. I'm like, I need to try this. It looks so, so good. So the clean eating cookbook, you guys got to grab that on her website. But so talk to me a little bit about the integrative health that you do, because you work with women, particularly that have tried everything and they're still like, what the heck? What is wrong with me? Can you talk a little bit about what is it that brings people to you? And then how do you work with them to transform them?
Yeah, great question. So, long story short, that was me. And I say it's been a decade of doctors and drugs. And when I say drugs, prescription drugs, let me just be clear, my husband's in law enforcement, so I have to say that, and diagnoses. So I was diagnosed with scoliosis and fibromyalgia and arthrosclerotic junction and tendinitis and joint pain and nerve damage and all of this stuff and, hormonal imbalances. And it got to the point where I was just like, statistically speaking, I don't even think we could be diagnosed with all this stuff. Just statistically speaking, there's no way. So kind of last shot in the dark, Hail Mary, I got into integrative health. And basically, because it was my only option, I get a little emotional talking about it still. I just remember sitting at the bottom of a flight of stairs and looking up and being like, wow, I truly do not have the energy to get up a flight of stairs. I remember more days than not when I was like, wow, I really need a shower, but I do not have the energy. I don't have the energy to sit in the bathtub. I don't have the energy to draw the water just to get in the bathtub. So that's how I found integrative health. And basically my job is to help women who have tried every diet, every workout, and every doctor who still can't get results, illuminate their beauty inside and out and heal their body holistically to finally get their health and body back. And the way that I do that is through functional medicine labs. And what my job is to find the underlying root cause of your body's dis-ease. And I say dis-ease because the body at ease can't be overweight or in pain. So my job is to find those toxicities and eliminate toxicities and replace deficiencies in order to get your body back to equilibrium. When your body's at equilibrium, your body is in a position to heal and your body will heal itself.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I love that level of confidence. Your body is in a position to heal and your body will heal itself. Is that what happened for you? How did you make your turnaround? Because, you seem so spunky now and you have so much energy and so much life. I can't even imagine like how you must have been when you were at that low point, how did you heal?
Yeah. Integrative health. And again, all credit where credit is due. I do my program and my course is health, fitness, and mindset. I mean, truly to God be the glory, in God's word, he says, by our stripes, by his stripes that we are healed, and our bodies are made in his good and perfect image. So, our bodies aren't designed to be diseased. So working through diet, working through exercise. And for some people, it's not always more exercise. For me, I was doing all of the same stuff. I gained 30 pounds in 3 months, still eating healthy, low carb, no sugar, all of that stuff, and working out 6 days a week, still gained 30 pounds in about 3 months. And at 5'1", that's a lot of weight. Even if you're not 5'1", that's a lot of weight, but especially at 5'1", all my short friends out there totally understand. But what I was able to do is find those toxicities and eliminate the toxicities and replace the deficiencies. I completely rebuilt my gut. I worked thyroid, adrenal hormones. For me, it was thyroid, adrenal hormones is really where I had to hone in and get those cortisol levels fine, make sure my estrogen and progesterone were in ratio, make sure that testosterone was good. Basically, the way that I like to explain it to people is when your body is in a stressed out state, everything takes a back burner to stress. So yes, our digestion takes a back burner. So all of this healthy food that we're eating, our body's not breaking it down and not using those vitamins and minerals. And our energy takes a back burner to stress. Our immune system takes a back burner to stress. Our sleep takes a back burner to stress. Our peristaltic movement takes a back burner to stress. When our body is in fight or flight, again, everything takes a back burner. And the way that works on the scientific scale is when your body's in fight or flight, its primary focus is to produce cortisol. When your body's producing cortisol, again, everything downregulates. The way this works for your hormones is all of the precursors that go to creating progesterone also go to creating cortisol. So then all of those cortisol precursors are over there hanging out with cortisol, which is our inflammation hormone, therefore creating inflammation, which again, we need a little bit of, but too much is a problem. And then our progesterone gets downregulated. Then our progesterone and our estrogen ratio is off. Many women with symptoms of estrogen dominance actually just have low progesterone and their estrogen was fine. That was me. I had horrible symptoms of estrogen dominance, but it wasn't actually my estrogen. It was my progesterone. And unfortunately, blood's a homeostatic fluid. So I'm not against conventional medicine or anything like that, but blood is a homeostatic fluid. So your blood will pull from wherever it needs to stay at homeostasis. So on a hair tissue mineral analysis, I can see calcium levels. But many women who have been diagnosed with osteoporosis, it doesn't show up in their blood work because that blood is pulling from where it needs to in order to stay at homeostasis. So through functional medicine labs and integrative health, rebuilt my gut, figured out what was going on with my hormones. I was able to rebalance my body. Long story short.
Yeah. Yeah, that's incredible. And, I appreciate you sharing the science behind it and all those details, because I've been on this journey myself. About 5 years ago, maybe 6 years now, I had adrenal fatigue. And so, boy, oh boy, it was all the symptoms. I couldn't go to a loud restaurant because I would start crying because it would just max me out. I couldn't do workouts that were heavy lifting workouts. Like, a lot about my lifestyle had to change. And in order to heal, it had to come back to my food, liver detox, just all of the things, And so I so appreciate you sharing, those hormones. And for women, our hormones are in such a delicate balance, it seems, and so to be able to find, through the lab work that you did. And I saw on your Instagram account, you were sharing, I think it's in a highlight reel if others are interested in seeing as well. You share what I do. And I'm like, what does she do? And I was like, this is fascinating. And you were showing like all the labs and all this stuff. And I was like, our bodies are so amazing. And like you said, God has designed them to heal. And that's the state that we are intended to be in. And there's some things that come against us. You're going to share in a moment a list of things that we can stop doing that can help to not avoid that. Let's go ahead and share those right now. I know you have a list of, I think, 5 things that are things that we can quit immediately in order to see immediate progress. Let's share those, Brea.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think most of your listeners on the podcast and here today with us already know this one, but the first thing you can do for your health is stop smoking. I don't care what it is. There's nothing that's beneficial about smoking. Any benefits of smoking would be negated by the fact that it's so toxic to your body. Toxic heavy metals, toxic to your lungs, knock it out. I'm sure you guys are already doing that. Next thing, if we can cut out just one more thing, my next thing would be soda. And yes, diet soda included. So that transitions me to my next one, which is number 3, cutting out artificial sweeteners. So a lot of times we see diet soda, no sugar, no calories. Okay, yeah, in theory, but it's so full of toxins. Splenda actually used to be an okay substance according to the FDA. The FDA has actually gone back and called it a warning substance. So artificial sweeteners are, again, Splenda, the yellow packet. Sucralose is also Splenda, which you'll see in many health food products, a lot of protein bars, protein shakes that are marketed as healthy, which really, really, really frustrates me. But your NutraSweet and your, which I believe is the blue packet and the pink packet, Sweet and Low, I might have mixed those up, but those are artificial sweeteners, aspartame. So knocking those out. I love to bet clients on this one. I like to bet clients. I'll bet $100. I'll bet whatever. I'll bet anybody on here. If you knock out artificial sweeteners and everything that you eat and drink and gum, watch out for your gum too, for 2 weeks. If you don't feel better, I will leave you alone and I will never say anything again. So try it for 2 weeks. Don't knock it until you try it. And then honestly,
that's good. Hey, I gotta stop you. First of all, I love that. That is hilarious. And I think it is so true. Right after I had my daughter, Adelina, I was like I was so tired. So I was just my body was craving any form of energy, and usually fast energy. So sugar. And so I was like toked out on sugar and no sleep. And I was like, I can't live like this. And so I thought, okay, let me just cut out the sugars. And I did it for 2 weeks. And I committed for 2 weeks. I ended up doing it for longer because I was like, I feel like it's so good. It does make a massive difference. So you mentioned all of the artificial sweeteners. Are there sweeteners that we can use?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Can we talk about that for a minute? Cause I feel like, wait a second, is that everything? Are there any sweeteners? Like, talk to me about like what sweeteners are not in the aspartame column?
Yeah, so Xevia is actually from a stevia. Xevia is a soda that has artificial sweet, I can't talk. Xevia has stevia in there. Stevia is from a stevia leaf plant. So that is natural. That's the green packet. A lot of the times it's actually mixed with a lot of different like dextrose and stuff like that. So if you're going to use stevia, try and find stevia in the raw or an organic stevia. But that one is, again, sweetened. It is, I think, 1,000 times sweeter than sugar. So it can be very, very, very bitter. But that one, for the most part, people are okay with. It's the one that I use in products and stuff like that. But there are some other sugar alcohols like xylitol and stuff like that. Many people have issues digesting them. I'm not fully against them. Xylitol is great for your teeth and like a gum or something like that, or a mouthwash. But a lot of people with a lot of gut issues, which a lot of people just so happen to have trouble with sugar alcohol. So for the most part, I say avoid them.
That's good. Okay. This is great. Okay. I feel like, all right, I'm starting to think like, okay, how can I integrate this into my world right now? And what can be the things that we can do immediately? I love things that I can implement like in the next 24 hours instead of like, well, this is my long-term plan. It's so good to have this stuff right away. So we talked about no smoking. We talked about no soda, not even diet soda, because of all of those sweeteners. And particularly these artificial sweeteners. So this is a great list. Okay. So keep going now. Don't let me interrupt you. Go for it.
No, you were actually kind of exactly where I was headed. So after the artificial sweeteners, number 4 is processed food. So cutting out the processed food, the stuff in the box, in the bag, like the stuff in the middle of the grocery store. Shop the outside, shop the perimeters where the fruits and vegetables are, where the healthy proteins are, where, the produce and all of that good, yummy stuff is. Think outside. Anything in a bag or box, of course, exceptions to every rule, like a bag of like rice or something like that. Okay, I can make it, or beans or something like that. I can make an argument for that. But for the most part, avoid the processed stuff, which goes hand in hand truly with refined sugars, which is the last thing on my list. Cutting out those refined sugars, the cakes, the cookies, all of that. Most of that stuff's going to be processed anyways. And I say that with a little caveat. Other than an off-plan meal, I always tell my clients, and once you heal, I tell my clients, we'll start them off on a detox and get all of that junk out of their system, and then do a once a week off plan, cheat meal, reward meal, whatever you want to call it. I don't really like to associate food with reward and punishment, but an off plan meal until you heal. And once your body is healed and you are at your goals, then we can go to 2 off plan meals. And if you don't want that to be, something, whatever if you don't want it to be like a cake or something like that, then, make it some extra sweet potatoes or something like that. But your body does need to reset those leptin and ghrelin levels. So an off plan meal is a great thing to do. And honestly, I want you to eat your birthday cake. You should celebrate. Life's too short.
Yes. Oh, that's good. That is so true. When you said detox, something came up for me because I think that some people, pointing to myself, are afraid of the word detox because we hear it out of context or in the context of like you're only drinking tea all day, or it feels like you're starving yourself, or it feels like, oh my gosh, like I don't have the willpower for this. Can you explain a little bit about what a detox of removing these things might be like for somebody that says like, right now I have these issues, I need to do this, I'm removing those 5 things. What might somebody expect from that experience?
Yeah, detox has really turned into a big marketing scheme and marketing ploy, which again, I'm not completely against, but a lot of cleanses are called detoxes. We hear about, juice cleanses, also called detoxes. The idea of a functional medicine liver detox is all of our blood filters through our liver I'm going into the science here, but we'll go here. Why not?
I like science.
I love science.
Yeah.
And again, I work with women who, myself included, who tried every workout, every diet, every doctor, and still didn't get results. I need to know the why. I need to know the science. And the more science I learn about, the more faith that I have, because I'm like, there's no way that this could have happened by chance. So I love going into the science. So if I bore you guys, I'm sorry, but all of our blood filters through our liver every 6 minutes. When our liver gets full of toxins, God amazingly designed those toxins to stay away from our vital organs. So it shuttles to our body's adipose tissue. Our adipose tissue is our fat cells. So those fat cells just expand and contract. We don't actually gain or lose them. Other than being pregnant, there is a study that says that, but they actually just expand and contract. So what a functional medicine liver detox does is it takes all of those fat soluble toxins and converts them over to water soluble with herbs and autophagy and intermittent fasting and all of this stuff in order for your body to excrete them. So that's the idea of what I do, a functional medicine detox in practice. But ways you can detox is literally just detoxing from processed sugar, detox from soda, detox from artificial sweeteners, whatever you want it to be. Just take that next step. Again, I like to think of rungs up the ladder. Rome wasn't built in a day. Rome wasn't destroyed in a day. And, if you are smoking, which hopefully none of you guys are, and eating really bad processed food, let's take it just one step at a time. Let's not try and jump up all of the rungs of the ladder and fall off. Let's take it one step at a time. So whatever you want to detox from, just take that next step.
That's good. Yeah. Instead of doing all the things. Yeah. I'm kind of an all or nothing, but then the pendulum swings from all to nothing. And so you're right. That can be dangerous too, because it's not fully supportive, because it doesn't create the new version. It just swings you back and forth. So I like that. Just one rung of the ladder. Very good. Good. So what are some things we can add into our lives or into our bodies in order to facilitate healing?
Yeah, well, I believe good habits flush out bad habits. So if we're adding all of this good stuff in, we're not going to have room for the bad stuff. So the first thing that I recommend is drink more water, half of your body weight in ounces per day. So if you weigh 150 pounds and 75 ounces of water per day minimum. Of course, there's gallon challenges and all that stuff. Yes, if you're working out, drinking even more water is better, but make sure at a minimum, you're getting half of your body weight in ounces of water per day. Number 2 is get moving. Ideally 10,000 steps a day. Most people are taking 3,500 steps a day. An Apple Watch, I don't have mine on, actually, I just took it off, but what's normally there in Apple Watch is a great way to track it. You can turn off the EMFs if you don't want Bluetooth on there, or you can turn off the Bluetooth if you don't want EMFs on there, but just get out and get moving. Take the stairs instead of an elevator. Park if it's safe. Again, law enforcement husband, if it's safe and fully nicely lit, park towards the back of the parking lot. Take your dog for an extra lap outside. Anything you can do, just get moving. Hang out with the kids. Play a game with them outside as opposed to something inside. Number 3, a functional medicine multivitamin. I'm huge on functional medicine because honestly, you get the best bang for your buck. If you would have an MTHFR gene mutation, which 1/3 to 1/4 of the population does, most people don't know it. If you're not using the methylated version, which is the most absorbable forms, which is what functional medicine brands use, and then you could actually be storing some toxic stuff that's not good. So you'll see cyanocobalamin on a non-functional medicine multivitamin, which is B12 instead of a methylcobalamin. Cyanocobalamin is about 1 molecule away from cyanide. So we want to make sure that we are using the methylated version, the most absorbable forms, especially if you're looking to get pregnant, making sure that you are using a folate instead of a folic acid, also vital. So your functional medicine multivitamin is huge. Number 3. Number 4, also kind of going back to the get moving, get sunshine. Your body needs vitamin D. It uses it like a hormone. Get outside. Yes, sunscreen's great. Don't get burnt or anything like that. I'm not advocating that, but make sure that you do get that vitamin D. And again, how much for, some people with a lighter skin tone aren't going to need quite as much. Whereas people with the darker skin tone might need to be out even longer. For most people, about 15 minutes a day. If you have just like a not easy burn, not really, really dark skin, for most people is about where most people need to be. But again, kind of varying where you're located as well too. So number 5, eat more plants. So if we're eating all of these wonderful fruits and veggies, ideally 7 to 9 servings of fruits and vegetables per day, it's going to be hard to find any room for anything processed or artificial in there. And number 6, making sleep a priority. 7 to 9 hours every single day, but for most women, it needs to be at least 8 hours. Our bodies do need more because our bodies do so much. Ideally going to bed at 10 p.m., waking up at 6 a.m. That's the way that our natural cortisol and natural diurnal rhythm spikes. Again, being a little hypocritical, I'm an 11 to 7, but if you can, 10 to 6 is the most ideal time. And number 7, start your day with a smoothie. Again, back to the plants and the fruits and the vegetable. But 1/3 of your energy every single day goes to digestion. So yes, we want to get that metabolism started in the mornings. And yes, I'm a fan of intermittent fasting, but ideally fasting the more hours before midnight, the better. But getting your day started with a smoothie and getting all of those vitamins and nutrients in that's already broken down is actually going to give you more energy, one, from all the good, yummy stuff, but from not having to break it down, you'll get more energy throughout your day as well.
Wow. This is so cool. I love that you're sharing the details. And, I really like metrics too. So I like that you're like, okay, between, I think you said 7 to 9 servings of fruits and vegetables and 7 to 9 hours of sleep at night. I'm like, this is good. Okay. Like we can work with this, we can kind of create a plan. So I'm dying to ask you this question because I often wonder, somebody like yourself who has so much information, you really know what you should be doing, what you should not be doing, and the impact of doing what you shouldn't be doing that actually is happening on your body. Some of us that don't know, like that you said those things about the vitamins, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to listen back to that again. If I were listening to the podcast, I'd be like rewinding right now. Like, wait, what was that again? Like, because that was so interesting. And it makes me wonder this. Okay. Do you do this stuff? Like, is this how you do it? Because, and I also look at your body, Brea, and I'm like, that girl is banging. Like, she looks like she probably is at the gym, like from sun up till sundown, and she like never eats a cookie. And like, so I'm dying to know, now that you've healed, what does your life really look like from the perspective of the things that you shared here? Like, how many of these do you do on a regular basis?
Honestly, these are my non-negotiables. So I have to start my day every single day with a smoothie. Sometimes in the winter, I'll make it a smoothie bowl. It is a little colder here in the winter, that I'll turn it into a smoothie bowl and just get some almond milk, some unsweetened almond milk and protein powder, and stir it up and add my fruits and vegetables in. I have to get my fruits and vegetables. Sometimes if I don't get my 7 to 9 servings in, then I will do a greens powder or greens pill to make sure that I am getting all of those micronutrients. And I make sure that I get moving as much as possible. Again, I aim for a gallon of water a day. I do sweat a lot. I do work out. It is also still my job, even though I don't have my personal training studio anymore. I do workouts online. Shameless plug for my free YouTube. I've got a bunch of different workouts. If you guys search for me on YouTube, you can join along for my free workouts over there. But yeah, I mean, honestly, these are my non-negotiables. I have to make sure that I get 8 hours of sleep a night, or nobody wants to be around me. So it's a benefit for everyone.
Wow. That's great. And it's such a cool thing to also think like, these things are doable and, you're doing them. And so you're living this as your lifestyle, despite being a practitioner, owning your own business, doing all of the many things that you do in life with the family and all this stuff. Is there any like one great tip that you might have for somebody that's at the bottom of the stair, looking up, thinking, I cannot climb these stairs. I don't even have energy for it. And this list, I don't even know where to begin. Like, what can that person do as their first step?
I always say, again, the list that I created, you guys, again, start with the not smoking and then move to the avoiding the sodas, then avoid the artificial sweeteners, work your way up the rungs of a ladder, but don't beat yourself up. It's about progress and process. Action precedes clarity. So in order to, sometimes I'll eat something and I'm like, oh, there's a reason. Like I had ice cream the other night. We had company in town and I went out and ate ice cream. Normally I don't eat ice cream. I know that I'm lactose intolerant. I still had a lactate. I felt horrible. It just wasn't worth it. Now, if I want ice cream, I can go get like a vegan ice cream, no problem. But I wouldn't have known that if I didn't eat the ice cream. action precedes clarity. You see how much better you feel when you're eating completely healthy. And again, there are times that it's completely worth it. My birthday cake, I'm going to eat my birthday cake and I'm going to enjoy, maybe not the entire cake, but every single bite of my couple of slices. But don't deprive yourself. I mean, that, other things too is again, it's about the progress process. It's not about perfection. You're not going to be perfect. Don't set yourself up for perfection because you will fail, but don't deprive yourself. Once your body gets healthy, you should allow your body to have those little wiggle room. If it's, pizza with your best friends on a Friday night, go for it. As long as it's pizza, it's not pizza with your friends every single night. And it's all about balance. Yes, moderation, but balance. If you're going to go out, and personally, when I'm on vacation, I allow myself one thing that's not really on my plan every single day. But in order to have that one thing, I need to make sure that I'm more active, whether it's a walk, an extra walk, or whatever it may be. It is finding that balance. Yeah.
That's great. That's cool. Thank you for sharing that. So let's talk about your pageant experience, because I know the audience is going to want to hear about the Mrs. United States pageant. Tell us a little bit about your experience. You'd competed in pageants in the past. Maybe you could share a little bit about your fitness pageant experience and then how that compared, and talk just a little bit about your pageant journey.
Yeah, so I did get started out in fitness shows. That's actually how Alicia and I met. Fun fact, if you search really, really, really deep in Facebook, you might be able to find the photo. But that's how I got started out. I think 20 different fitness shows in just a couple of years, which again hit my thyroid, adrenal hormones, and led me kind of to where I was. I own my own fitness studio and trying to do that full time, take care of my dad who was diagnosed with cancer. Just ended up being too much for my body. And that's how I got where I was. But pageantry started for me. I was looking for friends and like-minded women who really wanted to level up. They weren't just looking to go hang out and eat pizza on a Friday night. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but they really wanted more out of life. So that's how I got started as a Mrs. in pageantry. And I wanted a little bit more than being on stage for just 15 minutes in a bathing suit. I really wanted to give back to my community. I wanted to meet people, but I also wanted to talk about where my heart was, which is in health and fitness, and how I believe God has equipped me to help others. Yes, it's my business, but it's also my ministry. So I wanted to be able to give back, and it just feels so amazing every single time that I'm able to do that. But that's how I got started in pageants. I got started as a Mrs. and fell in love. I got bit by the pageant bug the first time. Yes, I'm super competitive, which is what got me in trouble with the fitness shows. Doing way too many in too short of amount of time, but it sure was fun. But yeah, I met amazing women who have become some of my best friends, and really forced myself to get up on stage and truly level up and rise to the occasion. And when I say rise to the occasion, I mean, yes, for myself, showing up at a new level, public speaking, all of that, but really leveling up with my platform, Youth Fitness Link, my nonprofit, and my legacy project, which now we've partnered nationally with the Boys and Girls Club as well. So pleased to say that I'm working with them as well. So just truly, truly, truly a blessing. I can't say, how amazing it feels to, every time I hear Mrs. United States, I look around, I'm like, oh, I should meet her. I actually watched Miss Congeniality last night, and I was like, oh, wow, it's just so exciting seeing that. That's actually our system. Fun fact, United States is Miss Congeniality bought the rights to Miss United States for the show. So every time I see it, it just brings things full circle, but it just feels so amazing knowing that, I'm truly called for such a time as this. And now is my opportunity to give back. And now is my opportunity to pay it forward and support all of the amazing people that have supported me along the way. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I'm curious to know from your experience, how much did your legacy project impact things like your interview and your onstage answer, and even the things that you are doing now? How much of an impact do you think that having a legacy project and starting your nonprofit and doing all the work that you're doing and now partnering with the Boys and Girls Club, do you think that impacted your win?
It is everything. It is truly everything. When women ask me, how do I win this pageant? me as the judge, when I judge, I don't want to hear about what you're going to do. And again, I love your goals and your dreams and your ambitions, but I want to hear what you've already done. Why do you deserve the crown on your head? And that's truly how I won. I'm 5 feet tall. I can't hang with the big, tall, long leg girls. And I know it. So I knew that I had to work extra hard in all of the work that I did through my holistic health cookbook, my #wow initiative, my YouTube fitness channel, all of the things that I've done in order to create resources to help people and families, starting with our youth specifically, because that's where I saw the missing link, working as a middle school youth group leader. So that's how it all came about. And every time that I talk to a sponsor, every time, anything that comes up in interview, I always bring it back to everything that I've done. I actually won interview. There's my little award back there. I won interview as well. And that was huge to me because I didn't think I would ever do that. But, talking about something that I'm passionate about truly changed the game for me. And knowing that I have the confidence because of the work that I had done, I wasn't going in there saying the things that I wanted to do. I was saying what I'd already done and, crowned Mrs. United States, everything that I would continue to do. And I would use that microphone to reach even deeper and reach even wider, but those resources were already in place. I wasn't, I didn't do all of this just for a crown. I did it to give back. The crown is literally just my microphone because everybody likes to hear from somebody in a sparkly hat.
That's so true. I tell my clients in the academy all the time, like it's about creating your microphone first and then allowing it to be amplified with the crown. Just as you said, it's the crown isn't the thing that gives you the microphone. It in fact amplifies the thing. It's the amplifier to the microphone you have already created. And you did such a beautiful job with that through your nonprofit, through all these pieces that you just mentioned and what you're able to now do because all that's in place. Now with the crown, with the sash, with the title, now you're positioned to be able to grow each of those pieces. So it's so cool to watch you as you just take this title and absolutely just run with it. It's awesome. So before we say goodbye, I'm going to take a moment to honor you. And then I want you to share with our audience where they can find you in a minute. But before we do that, I really want to honor you, Brea, because I remember that meeting that we had now years ago where you were like so passionate. You're like, Alicia, this is my legacy. It's to help people to become healthy from a young age so that they don't have to go through all the crap the rest of us have to go through and trip all over ourselves multiple times until they finally find the thing that's going to help them get healthy. And you immediately implemented. You now have created so many different resources for people to be able to achieve that mission. And it's exceptionally important to me because I'm one of those women who, like you, stand at the bottom of the stairs and look up and go, how can I even do this anymore? Like I remember feeling that way after having my daughter and even prior to that with adrenal fatigue. And now the resources are available thanks to you and to the work that you are doing. And I'm so grateful you put together these lists for us so that we can really be able to do the stuff that we all want to do. We want to be healthier. We want to be functioning to our greatest potential. And so these simple things and the way that you explained it makes sense. And I'm just forever grateful to you for that, for what you're doing, not just for me, not just for my audience, but for everybody that you are now able to reach across the world as a result of your title. You stepped into it. You did the hard thing. You stepped into it and now you're doing it. And I'm so grateful to you for saying yes. So thank you, Brea. So if you could share a little bit about where people can find you, I definitely want to recommend the Healthy Cookbook on her website, breasharron.com. But go ahead and share a little bit about what are some of your best social media sites that you like to interact with people?
Yes. So I am all over the place. Like we talked about, I have created a bunch of free resources. Actually, for the United States system, we have what's called a personal platform promise, which is 60 seconds where we literally get to, instead of an onstage question, we get to present exactly what we've done. So every time I talk to a sponsor or talk to somebody, I get to use it. So here we go again, coming full force. You can check out the #wow on www.youthfitnesslink.com if you have children or want to get involved with kids, stuff kids can do in a local youth group. I do have my Holistic Health Clean Eating Cookbook, Amazon #1 bestseller, and my free Clean Copycat Cookbook over at my website, www, like you mentioned, Brea Sharron, BreaSharron, over there for you guys for free if you want to check it out. My restaurant favorites, Made Healthy. I have a holistic health, wellness, and weight loss free Facebook group for anybody that wants to join. I have, I think, about 80 different workouts over on my YouTube. I'm not big enough to have a cool fancy URL or anything over on YouTube yet. I don't have quite enough subscribers. So just search my name, Brea Sharron, and you'll see those workouts pop up. And that's the same ones that I used getting ready for my pageant and still use every single day. Let's see here. And for all of the official stuff over on Instagram, I am official Mrs. United States, as well as Brea Sharron Fitness. Over on Facebook, the Mrs. United States, and just Brea Sharron. If you search for my name or Brea Sharron Estep, my married last name, either one will pop up. Me, I'm trying to hack into TikTok, Mrs. United States there. And I think and I'm not doing very well with TikTok, but points for effort.
I was going to ask about TikTok. I was going to ask about that. Yeah. Cause I was like, I wonder exactly yeah, because I'm not on TikTok myself. And so that's why I'm kind of like, how is that going? But so have you gotten into it yet?
It's super fun. It's very time consuming. I use those reels on Instagram too. So I believe in dual purposing as much as possible. It's fun, but it's very, very, very time consuming creating reels.
Yeah, I believe it. Gosh, well, your YouTube channel, we're going to have to subscribe to that so that you can get to the place where you can kind of get the URL. That makes a big difference because then it's easier to tell people about it. So we're going to help to get you there. I'm going to make sure all these links are in the description of this video once it is published. And I'm putting it in the chat for our clients right now so that they can go friend and follow you and get the cookbook and all the great things. Brea, thank you again for being here today on the podcast. And they're going to stick around so you can do some Q&A with our clients in the academy. But we're going to sign off of the podcast. So thank you again for being here and for all that you do. I appreciate you.
Thank you.